Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Anjali and we are doing this live session because I've been getting a lot of questions regarding 462 visa, which is the work and holiday visa for Indians. So I will try to actually answer a few more questions that you guys have been asking me. So before I get started, I will see and wait if anybody joins the live. So we're just gonna wait for a few minutes and see if anybody wants to join in. Hi, hello. I hope you can hear me. Hi. Hello. Okay, so we can get started with the questions that I've been getting about the 462 work and holiday visa. So the first question that I have been getting a lot is actually how to check if the registration is open or not. So basically, I did provide a link to the website, which is the status of country caps. So you can actually go to the IMI Home Affairs website and you would be able to actually check the status there. When it says it's paused, that means that it hasn't actually started yet. So that's one of the thing that you can do. Other thing that you can do is, unfortunately, they actually haven't provided us the date when they're going to open it, like open the registration or pre-application. So we still have to wait and actually go on the IMI account, which you might have already created. I have shown in my video how you can create your IMI account. So basically you have to go there, you have to log in, and when you go to do a pre-application for the visa 462, that's when you can see if it says the registration is closed, that means the registration is still not open. So they haven't provided any date as such. So that's the problem. I can't give you a date, or I can't find a date because they haven't provided what date. Initially they said after 16th of September, but it hasn't opened yet. So we are hoping that it will be opening in 1 or 2 weeks, but we still don't know how much longer uh, they're gonna take. So hopefully we will hear something soon, and if I hear something soon, then I will do keep you updated. So I have been getting one question from Ankit that tell me what's the future for living long term in Australia after getting 462. So basically 462 is work and holiday visa. This never used to be for Indians before. It has been allocated to other countries before. A lot of countries used to get work and holiday visa, but Indians were only getting visitor visa. So now they are allowing Indians to come here, work, and be on the holiday visa. So the long term plan for living in Australia, um, actually with work and holiday visa, it's only 1 year. And then if you do want to stay longer on 462, you do have an option of second and third work and holiday visa. There are some conditions that you have to fulfill though. So you do have to work in a specified area, and that area I will cover in the later that what that area is. I will go through that later in this video. So let's have a look at the second question, which is when does the pre-application open? That is the similar question to when the registration opens. So it is basically not defined when they're going to be opening it, and they haven't actually mentioned when they're going to open it. They did say 16th, but it's still, not really giving us any particular answer or date that when they are going to open it. 1 or 2 weeks should be good actually, but we don't really know, because you cannot find any details about when is the pre-application opening. So we have to wait and check and see when it opens. So hopefully soon, but we don't have a date yet. So your question is, can I get second and third visa easily? So like for the work and holiday visa, if you do fulfill the requirement and be on the condition that is asked you to be on, then you might be able to get second and third visa. I'm not 100% sure how much easy it's going to be, but they are offering this, so it might not be that hard if you keep going and if you fulfill the condition of the first work and holiday visa. But you have to make sure that you fulfill them, and the specified work that they have mentioned, you have to do it 3 or 6 months. We will look into that later. So the third question I was getting a lot, and this is kind of most likely coming from people that have, like, they don't have family name in their passport. So they've been asking me about the family name and given name. So basically, first I do want to explain, the family name is basically your surname or your last name, and the given name is obviously your own name or your first name. So now you know, like, what is your family name and what is your given name. Now if you don't have a family name in your passport, that is basically, like, I had a friend who didn't had their family name in passport. And so what you have to do when you are applying for a visa, you have two options. If you, like, if there, it is not mandatory that you need to provide family name, then you can skip it. But for most of the sections, there might be a compulsion that you have to actually say write your family name. In that case, if you don't have a family name on your passport, then you can write your own name or your first name in your family name as well. There are few people that I know have done it. That is the only option. Unfortunately, they do need your family name. So if you don't have that in your passport, you can write your first name there. So so please tell me, after completed my 3-year work, is this visa can be convertible in any kind of visa that will be helpful for PR in Australia? I don't think so. I'm not 100% sure, but it's kind of difficult to actually get a permanent residency after getting a work and holiday visa, because the purpose of work and holiday visa is that you come here, you work, you pay off, like, you be on a holiday, so you're like working here, sorry, and you're doing work and you're enjoying your holiday here, but then you ultimately have to go back. So that is what they look when they actually provide you the visa. They want genuine applicants who are actually coming here just for the holiday, and they are going back. They are going back after they finish their holiday visa, whether it's for 2 years, 3 years, but they would not provide or give a pathway for permanent residency after work and holiday visa, unfortunately. No, there is no option of converting any into any other visa, you might be able to go back and then you can try and apply for any other visa from outside of Australia, but you can't do that when you're on holiday visa here. So you have to go back and then you can try and apply for any, but you can't convert. They're getting very strict with this. So that is the new rule for visitor visa as well, that you can't really apply for student visa, as a lot of people have been doing that, and they have noticed it. So they don't want more people converting, coming for visiting and then converting it into a student visa. So there is a strict policy now that you have to go back to India or like your home country, and then you can apply for any other visa, but you can't do that when you are in Australia. So you can't convert. So I'll take the another question, which is what is the English requirement when you are doing a pre-application? Now, one thing that they have mentioned is that you need to have a functional English, but unfortunately, like they haven't provided any much details about, like whether it needs to be when you are doing a pre-application. So what they want is to provide, like, you need to prove that you have functional English, and that is actually to show evidence, either like you have completed a degree or higher degree, a diploma or trade certificate in an institute that is like from outside of in Australia, but that was fully like in English. So the instruction were all in English. If you have that, then you do not need to provide, like you do not need IELTS or PTE or TOEFL, but you need to give proof that you have completed a degree, higher degree or diploma that was fully like in English. Now there are some you can actually also have like few other options that they have given. So you can have a primary school and secondary school where all instruction was in English. So that is one thing. But all of the years of primary and secondary should be at least 3 years of your study. And if you did a secondary school outside of Australia, then all instruction should be in English, and you should have at least 5 years of study of that. So with the functional English, like if you are not giving a test, then you need to make sure, like, or you need to at least have education in English that was fully in English, and you need to prove that. So there is actually a link that I will provide you later on, which you can go and read about the functional English, because they have actually given it in all details, that if you want to come here and if you have functional English, that means that these all things need to be there. So it could be like an institute outside of Australia, but the instructions were all in English, and that should be at least like a full-time study of 1 year towards an award. So they are actually mentioning all these things, and they have actually given a detailed description in their website as well. I will provide the link so you can actually go and check yourself, that if you do want to meet English requirement, whether you would be eligible to give a test, or whether you would be eligible if you have done educational, like studied in educational institutes that was like fully in English. So you would have to check that. What's the question? Let me. Yes, so that means that this visa is only for highest stay of 3 years. So basically, you would be only able to stay here for 3 years, and then you would have to go back, because that is what this visa is about. So this visa is just work and holiday work visa. Sorry. So you can work here while you are on your holidays, but this is not a visa that will actually, you know, you can convert it into permanent residency or you can stay here longer, because the aim or the goal of the government is pretty clear that you need to come here, work here, live on your holiday, but then you need to go back once your visa expires. Okay, let me take another question. So that was the similar question. Can I extend my visa after 1 year? So let's look at what are actually the categories, and if you want to extend, what you can do. So on their website, they have mentioned that if you want to go for, like, if you've completed your first year of work and holiday visa, and if you want to go on to your second holiday visa, like second holiday visa, if you want to apply it, you have to actually fulfill certain criterias. So let's look at what that is. So let me just bring that up. Yeah, it's this kind of work, yeah. Let me check. So there is like a specified work that you need to do if you want to extend your visa for the second and third year. So basically, if you work in tourism and hospitality, there are some like remote areas that they want you to work in. It could be in northern or like remote Australia, and you can work in hotels, motels, bed and breakfast. You can work in like backpacker hostels. You can do like commercial housekeeping services or like boarding houses, like guest houses and reception centers. So you can work in basically tourism and hospitality. So you can do accommodation or food and beverages, which would be cafes, restaurants, any takeaway food services businesses, any pubs, taverns, bars, hospitality clubs. So that is all like where you can work. There are more more options that are actually given here, but you need to make sure that they are actually into the specified area that they have mentioned, which is the remote areas. So it could be either in like a northern Australia, or it could be, they have actually mentioned the suburb postcode, so you can actually go and check where it is located. So you need to work there at least 3 months with the same employer. So if you do that, then you should be able to apply for the work and holiday visa for the second year. So it's not only just tourism and hospitality. You can also work in plant and animal cultivation. You can work in fishing, like construction, or you can do like bushfire recovery work, or natural disaster recovery work. So there are like a lot more options there, but obviously you have to work in a remote area which is like regional. So the question is, please tell me how much a person can easily earn in Australia weekly basis. It actually all depends upon how much hard work you are putting in, and also how many hours you are working. Basically, when like I started my journey as an international student, I used to barely get $500 a week, but that was because I was working 20 hours a week. So depending upon like when you actually how much you work, Just give me a moment. So normally, like if you do a full-time job, um if you are doing 37 to 4 like 37 hours a week, working 5 days a week, and you have a job, let's calculate. So if you have like the pay right now is like around $23. If we calculate that, then you would be getting 850, but obviously the tax will be deducted from that, so then you would be getting around like 700. So that is like the basic, but you can obviously increase your skills. You can try and work more hours or see if you can get a good pay. This is just a basic example that I'm giving. People do earn, if they work full time for 40 hours or 50 hours, they earn around like 700 to $1,000 weekly, depending upon how many hours and where they're working as well. So it all depends upon where you're working and how much you're getting paid as well. So the question again is, where will the so the pre-application, they actually haven't mentioned anything yet. So they haven't mentioned the date yet when it's going to be opening. Hoping it will be opening soon, in like basically in two 1 or 2 weeks, but we can't still see the dates because they haven't actually mentioned the date yet. So once it opens up, that's when we can actually find out that it will be opening up. There is no other option except waiting for right now. Unfortunately, they haven't mentioned anything about when it is going to be open, so we have to go onto our email account and check that whether it's open or not. Another question is, where are you located in Australia? So right now I am located in the Western Australia, Perth. I started my journey as an international student in Brisbane. So I was a student in James Cook University. But last year I moved to Western Australia. So right now I am in Western Australia. So I actually am doing process mapping. So I am right now into a local government firm or organization. I started my work last year, in like when I moved to Western Australia. So at that time I was actually doing two jobs. So I was in Telstra and I was also doing like local government, like part-time, but then they offered me a full-time position now, so I'm working full-time there as a business improvement officer. Okay, so another question that a lot of people did ask me is about, so I I learned, I actually studied Masters of Information and Technology here in Australia. So I did had knowledge of process mapping from there, because I did few projects on it. And then when I got offered this position, that's when I actually started working on it. So I didn't had a prior experience, but I did actually learn process mapping when I was studying. So what about holiday visa? Can you like, do you have a specific question? What about holiday visa? Because we are actually talking about that. I just wanted to know what you want to know about holiday visa. So I've been trying to take questions. Um, Depending upon what you are actually looking at, obviously there are another ways to enter Australia, like if you want to study, you can go for a student visa. If you are looking for work particularly, there are like sponsor work visas as well. And also it depends what occupation you have. So because Australia is looking for more skilled people, they do have a skilled occupation list, so you can go and check what the skilled occupation list is and whether your occupation fits in there. You should be able to find another ways. There is another way. If you have good experience and your occupation is in skilled occupation list, you can actually apply for permanent residency from outside of Australia as well, so that is also an option. um So the portal is not opened yet, and there is no particular date for when it will be opening. So we have to actually wait and wait. That is the only option. We don't know when the 462 portal is going to be opening, unfortunately. They haven't mentioned a date. They did say 16th of September, but it hasn't been opened since then. Yeah, so that is the question I answered is we don't know when will it be opening. We are hoping that it will be opening soon in 1 week or two, because they do want to bring people for 2024 to 2025 this financial year. So should be opening soon, but when will it open? They haven't actually provided a date yet, so we can't really say when will it actually open. Now, there was a question regarding if you are actually a higher school student, like if you've done your plus two, 10th plus 2, which is like the if your 12th pass, can you apply for 462? So you cannot apply for 462 if you've just completed your 12th or your higher school, because they have actually mentioned in their website that you need to have at least 2 years of qualification after you completed your higher school. So you need to actually have, either you could have a diploma or you could have a degree, but you need to be like have studied 2 years after you completed your 12th. So if we go and check, yeah, so that is the qualification requirement. You must have a tertiary qualification from a university, college, or training center, or have completed 2 years of undergraduate university study. So like they do accept degrees, graduate certificates, or diplomas, but they do not accept any certification level qualifications. So everything is actually given on their website. So if you actually go visit there and have a read through it, you would be able to understand a lot more, and like can actually get a lot more clear view on what you need to be eligible for the visa. Now this is a pre-application, so I do want to say this because a lot of people like try to actually apply for the direct visa. You can't actually do a direct visa application, because for India and like there are a few more countries that they have mentioned that you need to actually do a pre-application, which is like a ballot system, which I said earlier that it's kind of like a lottery system where you do enter your name, you like fill in all your details, and then you need to wait, and if you receive an invitation, that's when you can apply for your visa. So I have a question from Rakesh. What is best, study or work visa? I recently completed BTech. So it really depends upon what your priority is. both are good in a way, depending upon what you're looking to do. Getting, like, if you want to do a further study, then obviously student visa would be an option. Work visa is a good option as well, but people do find it harder to find work from outside of Australia. It's always easier to be in the country and then find work, but obviously it's harder to find work. But that doesn't mean that people, like, there are a lot of people that actually applied and did get a job from outside of Australia. I did had a colleague that actually got like job from India, and she came here on work visa, so you can get it. Just depends upon what you are actually looking to do. Now, another question from Ayush. I've passed BTech, but I have no job experience. Can I apply for? Yeah, they're not actually looking for any work experience for work and holiday visa, because the basic understanding of this visa is that you will be on a, like, you're coming here for a holiday and then you want to make some money, so that's why you're working, so you can work anywhere. So that's why they don't really need a job experience for this visa. Now, so let's check another question, which is, what is the last date to do pre-application? So I'll answer this question and then I'll come back to your question. So the last date to do pre-application is basically when actually the cap is reached. So there is no date yet. So once they start pre-application, that's when people start registering their interest. And once they start inviting people in for the visa, and they think that there have been enough interest, so they would actually close, sorry, they would actually close the pre-application by itself. So there is actually no date provided for the last date of pre-application. So once it start, you can start applying for the pre-application, and then the website will be updated like it is right now. You can't actually do the pre-application, that's when it stops. So for the work and holiday visa, is PTE needed? That's another question. So I did answer this question before, but I will answer it back, that there is a functional English that is needed. Which means that if you have actually completed a degree, higher degree or diploma in English, even though you were outside of Australia, but you have completed at least 2 years of full-time study and all instruction were in English, then you do not need to give PTE or IELTS. But if that is not the case, if you haven't like done your qualification in full English, then you do need to meet the requirement by giving a test. Now it could be like the average actually band score for this is 4.5 band, so it's not really that much. So just basic English. So it could either be that you have studied in English medium for full 2 years of your degree or your higher degree or diploma. Then you need to give proof that you did that in English and all the instruction were in English. But if you don't have that, then you need to give a test. So actually, why another countries are open and why India isn't open? So actually, not many countries are open. So like they've paused Brazil, they've paused China. So because China, India, and also Vietnam, that's been added recently to the ballot, and they have allocated this ballot because they know that this is like really huge like populated countries, so there are going to be more people that would be interested to actually apply for this. So other countries actually were in list since a long time, and Australia has been giving them work holiday visa, but there is a cap, which is a limit that how many visas can be allocated in a year. For India, they actually don't So they actually don't had this before. So they have done a like a ballot, which is like a pre-application where all people will be submitting applications, and then there will be just a random picking. So it's going to be totally based on electronic system, that who is selected to be invited for those. So that is the reason, because it's a ballot, they are actually taking a lot more time than normally would be, and this is the first time India is getting added, so that's another reason as well. Now, not only India but even China's ballot is not open, because they haven't finalized the ballot yet. So even for China, India and Vietnam, it is paused, which means that it hasn't been open. So they're saying that when the arrangements are finalized for ballot, then that's when they're going to be opening. So yeah. So I am actually from Gujarat. Uh, in India, I'm from Gujarat. My native, like I'm born and brought up in Gujarat. My native is UP. So I, like, my parents were from Uttar Pradesh, but I am born and brought up in Gujarat. Okay. So now there is also one thing, like I've been getting question about, is that what documents are actually required. So let's have a look at what documents are required for. So for your visa application, you wouldn't be actually submitting any documents when you are doing a pre-application. So you would be submitting your details of documents or what you have when you are doing a pre-application. But obviously when you get a visa, there will be documents that you need to provide. So you need to give an identity document. Sorry, just give me a minute. So you will provide like either your government issued identification, which could be most likely be your passport. So you will provide that identification document. Then you will provide your education document, which would be the evidence of your education qualification. Then you have to provide your English language evidence. So it could be either you show that you've completed your study in English, or you have like done your English test. So that document is required. Then for other countries, there is a document called government support letter. So you need to actually obtain a letter of support from your government before lodging your visa. But for India, they have actually excluded this option. So you do not need to actually submit government support letter for if you're Indian passport holder. So that's really good thing. Now you do need to provide enough money evidence. So provide evidence that you have enough money for your stay in Australia. So this is usually like $5,000 like Australian dollar. So you have to show proof that you do have that much amount in your account, so that you can support yourself when you are here in Australia. So that is one of the document that you need to provide. Another document that you need to provide is kind of like a police clearance certificate. So that would be like a federal police check. And then another thing, is there anything else? Yeah. So that is most of the documents that you need to provide: identity documents, your education document, your English test, and your funds, like you do have enough funds in your account. Can I apply for second year work visa from Australia? Yes, you can apply for second year work visa. As I said, there is a specified work for work and holiday visa. So you have to actually meet the condition of the visa in the first year. And they have actually allocated few of the specified work that you need to do if you want to stay further for second and third year. So this includes tourism, hospitality, plant and animal cultivation, fishing, tree farming, construction, bushfire recovery work, or like natural disaster work. But these all works need to be in a specified area. So they have given like a postcodes where you can actually work for these. Mostly all these all these postcodes are remote or regional areas. So you'll have to look for those postcode if you are looking to actually stay for second and third year. But you have to minimum work for 3 months. Yeah. So you have to work for 3 months there if you want to apply for second and third work holiday visa. What's another question? So there was another question from someone asking about how to show bank balance and how much bank balance should I show for funds. So basically this will be like showing all your bank statements that you have enough amount of balance, which is around 500 Australian dollar in your account, so that you can support yourself. And this will be actually, so when you are actually giving all the documentation, make sure when you're showing a bank balance you are providing as much information as required. So you are showing your ITRs, like your tax documents, and also your bank statements. If someone like your parents are sponsoring you, make sure that you have all their finance documents involved in there as well. So that is very essential when you are actually showing any bank balance. So that is done when you are applying for visa. When you are doing a pre-application, you do not need to actually do like showing of funds when you are doing a pre-application. So pre-application is basically like expression of interest. So you are expressing your interest that you want to come to Australia to come on a holiday and work visa. So that is kind of what the pre-application is. And once you get invited for the visa, that's when you show all of your documents. Okay, let me see if you guys have any other questions, or have I answered all your questions? So I will, like, when we are talking about, thank you so much. So yeah, we were talking about specified work and visa condition when you are doing work and holiday, like when you are coming on work and holiday visa. So there are condition 8547 and 8548 that you have to maintain. So let's check what that is. 8547. So you can, what condition 8547 says that you cannot not work for one employer for more than 6 months. So you have to actually maintain this condition when you come on work and holiday visa. Another one is 8548. Sorry, 8548. if you do want to study when you come here on work and holiday visa, make sure that the maximum amount or the maximum months that you can study is 4 months only. So you can't study or train for more than a total of 4 months while you are in Australia on that visa. Okay, I have another question. Hi, how are you? I visited Australia in 2019 on a visitor visa and then applied for tourist visa in 2023, but it got rejected. Can I apply for this visa 462? One of the thing, like when your visa got rejected, what was the reason behind the rejection? What did they actually stated uh, the rejection for? Because they do say that, so when you look at the requirements or eligibility, they have mentioned that you should not had a visa cancelled or an application refused. So they mention here that they will consider your immigration history when they make a decision on your application, which means that you might not be eligible for the visa if you had a visa cancelled or refused. But in some circumstances, you may still be like you can apply for permanent visa, but for this visa they are very actually strict, and they are saying that they would not actually make a decision of like they would actually check everything. So you need to be really aware if you do want to apply. Honestly, it's not a best idea to actually apply for this visa because it can get refused again if you have got a visitor visa or a tourist visa rejected recently last year. But you can actually go on the website here, which is again the Home Affairs website, and they have actually mentioned about the limitation on application in Australia. So you can actually have a read through it and see if that's the reason why your visa got rejected or not, or if you're eligible to apply. But honestly, it's very risky to apply for this visa because it maybe there are chances that it will get refused or cancelled again. Yeah, so they are actually not, they're very strict about it, so it wouldn't be best idea to apply for this one. Oh, that's, yeah, that's great. Yes, so we were actually talking about the visa condition 8547 and 8548 for work and holiday visa. So make sure when you are actually doing, like, those who are seeking to apply for a second or third work and holiday visa, you need to meet specified work requirements to be eligible for the visa grant. So you need to make sure that you are not working with the same employer more than 6 months, and also make sure that when you are actually if you are studying for when you are on work and holiday visa, make sure that you do not exceed that 4 months of study, so you can only study for 4 months. And also for the specified work arrangements, there is a really good thing that they have mentioned is the department is actually temporarily applying flexibility to the specified work requirement. This actually gives greater weight to specified work industry, so it actually supports the government's continued initiative to address labor shortage in Australia. So was there any other questions that anyone had before we finish off this live? So I will actually try to put more details. Like I do have actually provided a link for these before in my previous videos as well. So if you can go on my videos and click on those links, you would be actually able to go in these website of Home Affairs, and you can actually read everything that is given, because Australian government actually provides every information on their website itself. So they actually give a lot of more information here, and it's always better to actually go and have a read, because you should know what the visa is all about and what is the eligibility, whether you meet the eligibility, what are the steps to apply it. And if even if you are going to go through a migration agent, it's always better to have that education and have that knowledge about the visa that you're going to apply, because there can be cases when you can do better than migration agent. This is my personal experience, because I did suffer because my 190 visa invitation for permanent residency got refused. So I do know how it is, so it's always better to actually get more information. Okay, I think I'm gonna end the live session now. If anybody doesn't have any other questions, I would still wait. Maybe I'll wait 2 or 3 minutes and see if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, I can go ahead and end this session for today. Okay, I do have another question. Which state is good for work in Australia? It's kind of difficult to give a name of a state that is good to work for Australia, because every state here is pretty much really good, depending upon what kind of work you are looking to do, what is your occupation, because you can find jobs in Brisbane, in Queensland, for state-wise in Queensland, in Sydney, or in Victoria, or in Western Australia as well. Just depends upon what kind of skill set you have and what kind of what is your requirement for work. Because when, like, me and my husband lived in Brisbane, we used to do a lot of work there, depending upon what occupation we had. Then we moved to Perth, or Western Australia, and we actually started liking the phase here, which is a slow phase. So Brisbane is really nice city to live in, and it's really good. But then it's getting more fast paced in terms of life, whereas we live in Perth now, and it is a slow paced life which we really enjoy. So depend upon where you would like to work. Sydney and Melbourne are good for IT people as well. So you can actually work in Sydney and Melbourne, that are kind of like IT hubs if you're looking. So depending upon the occupation, if you're looking for mining work, then obviously Western Australia has all the mining work. So it depends upon what kind of occupation you have. Well, Australia has pretty much similar weather to India, but depending upon states, so it's more cold in Melbourne and Sydney than like in Brisbane. Queensland has tropical weather, so if you like tropical weather where it's like whether winter or summer and then it starts raining at any time, so that is what Queensland is. I haven't lived in Victoria that much. Like I haven't lived in there not that much. I haven't lived in Victoria, or like I haven't been into NSW Sydney. Like I know that the weather is pretty much similar. So it has winter, which is really cold winters, although there is no snow in NSW, Victoria, Queensland and Western Australia, but it is still very chilly. And then it starts raining anytime in Queensland, where or in any weather. And in Western Australia it's kind of different because it rains in winter here. So the the good weather, it's actually good everywhere, because the hottest weather is actually in Northern Territory. So if you don't like summer, and if you don't like heat, then it's a better option to stay in either Queensland, South Australia, or maybe Western Australia. And if you enjoy more cold, then I think it would be nice to stay in NSW and Victoria. Or if you like more cold, then Tasmania is your option. So Indian driving license is valid, but depends upon what state you're living in. So in Victoria, it is only valid to drive with your overseas license for 3 months, and then you have to either get your your driving license from the state, or you might not be able to drive. But like I lived in Queensland, and you can actually drive with your overseas license in Queensland, and you can actually drive with your overseas license in Western Australia as well. Sorry. So it all depends upon what state you're in, but I know that you can drive with your overseas license or your Indian license in Western Australia and Queensland. But you have to take your driving license from Victoria. If you're living in Victoria, then you have 3 months. You can drive with your Indian license, and then you have to apply for their state license. Okay. Well, it is kind of maybe personal experience, but some people are really nice and some people are really helpful than others. But it's kind of it was a bit of a shocker when I first came to Australia to see that not many Indians are actually helpful. Not many people actually smile at you when you see like another Indian, which is kind of weird because you would imagine that they would actually love to see another Indian people in a foreign country, but that is not the case here. So it is kind of, and it can be that I had different experience than other people, but I do think that some people you would find helpful, but it is very rare. Most of the people are kind of busy in their own life and they do not want to get disturbed, so they do want to carry out like they do not want to build up the community, or they're just not interested to talk. So it depends on your experience, I would say. Well, I personally think, because I have actually worked with Indian owners or like Desi owners and with Australian owners as well. My personal experience is better with Australian people than with Indian community or Desi owners, because kind of you would imagine that they're from the same country or sometimes same state that you are from, and they speak their own like your own native language, but they are actually like not interested in any of, you know, like speaking your own native language or helping you out because you're a student or like overseas here. Although they have seen the same struggle maybe, but they're still not trying to help you out, and they get you to work as much as you can. Sometimes you don't even get breaks that you deserve, and I think it's just not. I think you would be better off working with an Australian owner, where you can experience and see how things work here. You can know more about Australian culture as well, how people talk here, you know, also understand how people speak here as well, and they actually understand like importance of getting break. They actually are quite kind to you when you're working. If you have any problems, you can actually talk with them and they would be like empathic, like empathetic with you as well. But with Desi owners it's kind of not similar, although they speak your own language. So my experience personally is better with Australian people than with Desi owners. I think with that we will actually, okay, this is the last question that I'm gonna take and then we're gonna end this session. So should I come with my family Australia on student visa? So it's very difficult, especially because you are coming on a student visa with your family. If you have kids as well, what I have seen, a lot of people have to drop their kids back home, like back to their home country, because you're not able to survive with your family. If you have like a spouse, sometimes it's better because you do two can get along and work harder and pay up your fees. It helps financially, but it also gets harder in terms of if you have a child. It would be really hard to actually survive, because there are other expenses that you have to take care of as well. So it's actually better off coming either single or with your spouse, because your spouse can help you with finances. So yeah, that is a good option, but would not recommend you to coming with a child. I mean, you do have to struggle a lot, especially if you can't find jobs for few months. You might be struggling a lot at that time. So it's better to either come alone, or maybe bring your spouse with you and then you guys can work together. Okay, I think that was it for today's live session. I hope this has helped you all with like I've given as much information as possible about work and holiday visas. If you have any other questions, you can drop them off either in the comment section on my videos, or even if you want, you can drop them off on the post, like the community page that we have on YouTube. You can also contact me on my Insta. I have provided the like my Insta ID in all of my videos, so you can contact me there. I would be able to respond to you as soon as I can. But this was it for today, and I hope there is some update soon. When there is an update, I will update you guys. Till then, you make sure you stay safe, stay healthy. Okay, can you tell me? We actually had a long session about 462 visa. I was just about to end the live stream. What did you wanted to know about 462 visa? Is there anything particularly you wanted to know about subclass 462? So it's kind of work and holiday visa. You are eligible to apply if you are under 18 to 30-year-old. You can do a pre-application. It isn't actually opened yet, so we don't know when it's gonna be opening. They did said that it will be opening after 16th of September. It's been almost a week. It hasn't been opened yet. We are still waiting on when it opens. You can do a pre-application, which is like a ballot registration of your kind of like expression of interest. It will be a kind of like lottery system, so the electronic system will randomly select people from that ballot or pre-application, and then you will be invited to apply for the visa, and once that's when you can start applying for your visa. How you transition your career from IT to business development? So I with the business improvement, it is similar to what I studied in masters of information, because it's related to business business analyst. So right now I do process mapping for all the organization. So my day-to-day role is actually meeting people, getting to meet people from the organization from different business units, and then do a system administration role as well on the process mapping application. So it's kind of similar to information and technology. It's different from software, obviously. It's more likely business analyst, but I actually love doing that role because it gives me more flexibility, and I don't like, how do you transition your career? So it kind of came as an opportunity to me when I came to Western Australia. And at that point of time, because I recently moved here, I was actually looking for honestly any kind of work at that time. So I was applying for a lot of jobs, and when I started applying for software jobs, that's when I actually found out they actually need pretty wide experience in software here in Western Australia. So I started applying for business analyst jobs as well, and I actually was lucky to get one in the local government, and that is how I actually transitioned. So basically, honestly, I was looking for any kind of job at that time, because I just moved and I wanted to start working, because that is the basic requirement. But then obviously I wanted to be in IT, so that's why I chose the business improvement, because it's similar to what I studied in my masters of information and technology. Okay, guys, I think it's time to end the session now. It's been over an hour. I hope I've answered all your questions. If you have any further question, you can reach out to me on Insta, or else you can leave comments in my videos as well. I'll see you guys in next video or next live session. Until then, make sure you stay safe, stay healthy, and bye for now.